In today's podcast, we're exploring how to prepare and execute with the utmost performance with Joe Greco, but more importantly, how you're going to be able to leverage his expertise to scale your wealth. Hey gang, it's Erica Warfield with the Influencer Experience of Influencer TV, where we show you how CEOs and founders build their influence. Be sure to check out any relevant links that Joe and I mention in this podcast, because we're going to put them right down here in the description box below. And if you like this podcast, we'd be super grateful for your support. Please give us that thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to catch the veritable cornucopia of knowledge that we're going to be bringing to you all throughout the series. Joe, you're the founder and president of PALIO Inc., a highly regarded performance coach and knowledge broker, a strategic advisor to Check Financial and investor, and a former Wall Street trader, all while being an active #girl dad to 5 young daughters. Did I miss anything?
Sure. Yeah, no, I would think there probably are a few more things that I've crammed in there, as my mother will tell you. I've always been a bit of an ants in my pants kind of guy, but in reverse order, priority certainly that girl dad, #girl dad, and then from there I'm able to really draw a lot of energy and strength to deliver on professional development and performance coaching, which, having been on Wall Street for a baker's dozen years, I find the most exciting thing is to directly connect with people and help them grow and become more or even better versions of themselves as they go up the food chain or the corporate ladder, or bring their companies into liquidity events.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine when it comes time way down the road when your girls have boyfriends. They're not going to be able to keep up because you're going to have high performance coached your daughters even. So I think that is so cool. So let's jump into basically one major point on how you created wealth, not only for yourself, but you do so for others through your 5 competencies of, am I saying that right? 5 competencies.
You got it. You nailed it. Keep going.
Well, make sure you stay for the final bonus, folks, because that's when we're going to explore Joe's time management, being that active dad to 5 girls, all while running this empire. So, Joe, I had never heard of the 5 competencies of wealth until you literally blew me out of the water with them. So could you share those for us?
Sure. And we had it. If you think it was a tongue twister with just 5 competencies of wealth, you should have been around for 5 core competencies of wealth, which really gave people a lot to say with the alliteration of the core competency. It's just easier to say 5CW. It's all good. Once you hear it, you know it, and you know what we're referring to. And look, I'm no genius. I subscribe to or ascribe to the same philosophy that many thought leaders do, which is the CASE methodology: copy and supplement everything. You can't just steal it. You got to actually supplement it. Take something that somebody's done, make it a little bit better, a little bit more, unpack it, make it yours, and then you go back out with it. And I give tribute to all the mentors before me. But what I will tell you is these 5 core competencies are the things that, beyond the bottom line, beyond the number on the statement that you receive from the financial institution, or the updates that you get on your app. And I don't endorse any particular app, but whatever app you have on your phone saying what you made today, or worse, what you lost today, depending upon where you're invested. These are 4 of that is certainly one of them. The financial wealth is important. It is the bottom line, right? That's how we pay our bills. That's how we really mark ourselves. That's what we leave to our heirs, or perhaps even G3 behind us. But the other 4 are the ones that matter most in my mind. And I feel like COVID and this whole period, the work from home period, the pandemic, has totally accelerated many things. In particular, it's accelerated our awareness around those other 4. For me, my priorities, as I've said earlier, and as you know, number 1 is my family wealth. So that's your peeps, your homies, your blood. For me, it's the girls, my wife, my greater extended family, and my parents, which I'm very fortunate, and a centurion grandmother. She's not a centaur, she's a centurion grandmother. So she's 100.5. But the idea being that family wealth, the competency around what you're doing with those people, how you're growing them, how you're engaging with them, how you're loving them, how they're loving you, is super, super important. If that's not right, or if that's not in check, bottom line is going to get affected. Right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be affected, meaning your financial wealth is going to suffer at some point. And if it's going well, then you feel more emboldened, you feel more incentivized, you feel more inspired. That wealth is going to drive up. So those 2 certainly need to be in check. Adding to the wealth of family is wealth of health. And health touching on so many bases. Your mind, your body, your soul. Are you spiritual? I happen to be. Are you not? That's fine too. You have other things that are going on. Are you physically fit? Are you taking care of yourself? Surely in COVID, we've all become a little bit more acutely aware of our fragility and, our limited time maybe on this earth, especially with good health. And so that's something that's in check. A derailment there can certainly mean derailment in your financial wealth, right? And we know what that looks like in retirement for many people. Similarly, you have social and cultural wealth. Wealth of culture, that competency might have to do with your lifestyle, how you're adding things into your world, how you're making your world more exciting, what you're doing to stimulate yourself. Are you, same old home office, or after the last 2 years, did you finally spruce up the joint, throw a fresh coat of paint on the wall and inspire yourself to be more exciting? Did you invest in these new cool headsets that make you look like an air traffic controller or an airline pilot who's not on strike? What is it that you have that's making your lifestyle be all the more better, right? Investing in that. And then of course, social wealth, beyond cultural wealth, social wealth has to do with how you're engaging with people, not just maybe a social justice initiative that you stand for, but also, are you blending, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of your personality? Does your personal world really know what you do professionally? And conversely, have you been vulnerable enough? Have you put yourself out there enough with your professional contacts so they understand who the person, the heartbeat belongs to? And all of that to me says, when you keep those in checks and when you're constantly feeding and augmenting or enlightening yourself in each of those competencies and you're growing them, then the global wealth that you have becomes a hell of a lot easier. Everything is in harmony. You can then suffer a period where maybe one of those is a little out of whack and the other four carry you through. And you don't see impairment of your actual financial wealth, but instead you can see yourself pushing through those periods and moving on to the next phase. So that's a little bit about those four main. Then of course the five, the bottom line is that financial wealth, which is where everything does ultimately drop in. But keeping those in check and actively growing each competency is the methodology that I've been able to leverage for over 2 decades now. And it certainly has worked well for clients in the meantime. So thank you for asking about that, Erica.
You're welcome. Well, and I think you're right. When you have 4 of them working for you, you suddenly have the mental wherewithal, and you can have that mindset of when things start to get a little rough. Oh, this is just a stretch of road. This is not miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
Yes.
It's not always going to be this way. You actually can take that step back, get into fact and not in emotion, and say, oh, this is just a stretch of road. I'm going to work this through.
And it allows you to permit yourself some of that emotional integrity. It allows you to be human and let out the tears or let out, the exultation when it really is going well. That's fair. And you should have those, but you can't necessarily enjoy them as much if you're so focused on just the bottom line, on the dollars in the account. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people will never get ahead because of their level of comprehension in their profession, their level of education, their level of aggressiveness, go get it, self-motivation. Maybe that's just naturally not in them, and that's fine. And those people need to feel that they are wealthy. And this construct allows those people to really identify other ways that doesn't include 2 commas in their net worth.
Right. So when you talk about that, when somebody may be lacking a little bit of that tenacity or that drive, does that get to this concept of acting as if, or work is not for everyone?
A little bit. And great cue there. I mean, acting as if is a very unique way that is not at all anything more than common sense. It is. It's basic. Except most people don't think this way because they fear. They're put in a position where they say, I don't have the credentials. I don't have the degree. I don't have the title in my position. And what I say is act as if that's where you want to be, if that's what you see yourself doing, if that's how you envision your future and your impact on the world, your legacy, your reputation, well, then act as if you're there. Act as if you're in that role. It's no different than you'll hear tons of business school speakers tell you, don't apply for the job that you want. Apply for the job, of the person that you want to be, and go for it. Don't work hard and assume the responsibility of whatever role you're in. Assume the responsibility of the person above you and keep striving and going farther. So acting as if is critically important as a mindset to make sure that you're after more that's appropriate to you. It doesn't mean that you need to be aggressive in all forms of life. You've got to identify the pieces that matter most in your world.
I think that's a really profound and deep way of stating what I think some people have sort of twisted a little bit. And you've taken it beautifully and untwisted it. Because for so long we were hearing fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
No, that's not the same as acting as if, because you are truly acting. There's no faking. And I
Yeah.
really love that and
You're
appreciate that.
behaving. Yeah, act has sometimes that connotation that you're on stage and it's a facade. But I say act meaning like
Oh,
behave. Behave yourself, conduct yourself, make decisions as if you're the owner of the business. Don't make decisions as if you're the employee punching your card. If you
mhm.
want to be the person who owns the factory, then don't just stamp the plates. Think
Yeah.
about how you can motivate your colleagues
Mhm.
to be a little bit more excited, to be more productive, to innovate with new technology or bring certain things to the attention of the sales department, defects in the product. Take it upon yourself as if you were the owner, not as if you're stamping plates in the factory.
Mhm. Yep.
Another offshoot of that, which I know we talked about, which I think we talked about recently, is this idea that hard work or work in general is not for everybody, and
Mhm.
that's okay. You know, hard work takes effort. Work takes motivation. Work takes getting up out of bed. Work takes getting off of the government dole if that's what you've been accustomed to for a long period of time,
Right.
right? Work takes overcoming fears that are either real or perceived in the marketplace, in the world, in society. Work takes effort. It's not necessarily for everyone, and that's okay. We're a rich enough nation, and there's many nations that are wealthy enough now that they can take care of you if work's not really for you. But above work is hard work. Above work is becoming a visionary. Above becoming a visionary is being a legend. And so there's nothing short of legendary for parents who simply put in the hard work of doing an hour of math and science and English, homework with their kids each night as they go through the single digits into the teen years. That's hard work. You don't get
Mhm.
any extra comp for that. What you get is satisfaction someday because your kids are hard workers, because your children go to a good school and maybe they get scholarships for it, not because of what you earned or didn't earn, but rather because of their aptitude, because of how they apply themselves, because how they show up. And they act as if they're already part of that university community in their interview while they're still a junior in high school. They act as if, because that's been the modeling. So work isn't necessarily for everyone, but work can be something that you inspire others with. And I like to say that the difference between, unfortunately, there's a huge difference in the world when it comes to motivation. And that's the difference between what you have and what you want. And
Mhm.
it doesn't always mean dollars. What do you have in terms of family? What do you have in terms of culture? What do you have in terms of lifestyle or social connections? What do you want in terms of family, lifestyle, culture, social connections? Bridging that gap and rising up to meet that is the difference between people who are truly motivated and become their own and live their best life, and the people that unfortunately just mail it in and then wake up one day and they're well beyond the point where they can ever change again.
Right, right. And, for those of you who are watching, if you really resonate with how action and hard work and those little small steps create something that we would think is legendary, go ahead and smash the thumbs up and the subscribe button
Oh
for
yeah.
us.
Love it. Love
Especially
it.
if you're enjoying this, because Joe is dropping some major, major gold nuggets. Please tell us in the comments if you know of maybe a sixth competency of wealth that you can think of. So we've made it to the bonus round. What's it like, Joe, to be the father of five daughters and accomplish everything that you're doing? Because if you can build this empire, and lead and guide and be this wonderful father to five daughters, the rest of us can do it with a cat. So what is your time management like?
Cue the tail of your cat, which I know I've seen in the background
I
periodically. So,
know. That's the happy
um,
bit.
yeah, well, let me say, you spoke about it as in past tense. You said early on, what's it like to do everything? And I'll tell you straight out, the to-do list is never empty. The to-do list is ever replenishing. I mean, it is, no matter how many whacks I take at it, no matter how many times back in the day, my little trick was when I traveled, I'd always add like a half a day or a full day in whatever city I was going to. And I'd use that day just hold up in a hotel to catch up. To catch up on work, and I would block off calls, and people would know I was out of town, so it was very easy. Nowadays, unfortunately, everybody thinks you're just going to answer the phone. They don't even look at what day or what hour it is because we're a 24/7 operation, right? So one is set boundaries. Two is be present in the moment. So if I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. If this is something we're doing together as a family, great. If it's professional time, then unfortunately it's professional time. Even if it's a 3-year-old that somehow unlocked my office door and came in, I got to, be firm enough to kind of push her away politely and set the boundaries later on that she knows, hey, daddy's going to be on this call for this period of time. And as soon as he's done with it, then we could play. But we're going to play, and then daddy's going to go back to do some call, and you're going to know that it's okay. And just simply understanding, do you need to take a call? Do you need to work for a little bit, is something that even a 3-year-old can get their head around. So setting those boundaries and being diligent about it is important. Number 3, Erica, I would throw out there is find passion. Find passion in everything you do. And if you're not finding passion, or if like the thumbs up excitement is starting to go like kind of excited but not as motivated
But
anymore,
not
to
for this
like,
video. Not for this video.
no, of course not. Yeah, don't follow me at all, except for in your life. If you're getting to that point, then tune out, then walk away, then go away from it, or at least angle toward a new version of what you're doing and reignite that passion you have, reignite and inspire yourself so you can really enjoy it. Because if that's not present, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're earning, because your family isn't going to understand. It doesn't marry up with what you're bringing and who you are at home. Your social contacts are going to see a grumpy person that's, very wealthy from a dollar's perspective, but not fun to enjoy life with,
Mm-hmm.
And I have very blessed with friends who I say are unfortunately, broke when it comes to finances and in a poverty situation, that I take great lessons from and enjoy our time together. And they're okay where they are because they're full of many other things. And I also have friends who are very, very wealthy, whether it's theirs or multi-gen. And unfortunately, some of those people are searching and looking, and they haven't identified the purpose. Conversely, there are plenty of people who are leveraging that to the hilt. And those are the people that are truly living their best version, and they're also leading a life that is likely going to inspire G2 and G3. And that's what I'm after right now, is to make sure, does it pass the test in my head of, will this hold up? If any of those 5 girls someday say, this is what you were doing in 2021, or I saw this video of you and like, what were you talking about? Are they proud of it? And if they're not going to be proud of it, if they're not going to be excited, or at least say like, okay, that's cool, that's my dad, they don't need them all to like want it for themselves. But if that doesn't pass the test, then I probably should rethink it. And all of that kind of helps me prioritize and rejigger. There's also, I'll give you one more quick tip on that one, is gist. We call them gist Tuesdays. So oftentimes on Tuesdays, I would say at least 3 Tuesdays a month, if not all 4 of them, or in the odd months where you have 5, it's get your stuff together Tuesday, right? So several hours are blocked out, and it's get caught up, it's follow up on those calls, and it's not specific project work. It's simply just get your stuff together. And if you don't have regular check-ins on those points, if you can't lock yourself in a hotel room for a few hours or a conference room and literally observe that this thing does not go off and no one can intrude, it's going to be very difficult. As you add children, it'll be exponentially more difficult to the equation for you to get everything done and to feel fulfilled and satisfied.
I love it. I love it. So if you're out there and you're wanting to level up in terms of energy and get to your heck yes, and you want to achieve the 5 competencies of wealth, where is the best place for these people to reach you? Joe, is that on LinkedIn? Is there a contact us email? Is there some sort of link we can put in the description box for you?
Sure. The casual observer, best to go into LinkedIn, because you can kind of, tangentially connect with me or superficially connect with me and then just watch me from afar, and you don't really have to engage. If you want to engage with a thumbs up or a like or a laugh or a light bulb, that's fine. If you want to go with a comment, fantastic. If you want to DM me, you can do that all on LinkedIn. If you really want to engage though, you really want to learn, go to the website palioinc.com, as you know, and peruse it. We set it up so you can learn about what we do. You can see how you could engage. You could look at some of the ways that clients have won and things that we've done, fun stuff we've done together. You can also read up on some of the random musings that spin through my mind called the cups of Joe. And at that point, you could sign up and subscribe for that mailer. You'll get little tidbits from me periodically, from the team on a more regular basis. You'll learn about events we're having and upcoming, opportunities for us to engage more deeply. And hopefully it'll be the kind of thing that just, is present just enough, just the right amount in people's lives. But yeah, so more tangentially, definitely through social. The primary social for us is via LinkedIn. My name is Joe Greco, and the company's PALIO Inc. And then, of course, the website, palioinc.com.
That's so awesome. Thanks, Joe. You gave some powerful sage advice today. And so now
That's the gray in the beard. I think you threw sage out because of the gray
I've
color.
got some gray. I refuse to. I am going to age gracefully. We're going to do it together.
You certainly are, sister. Very nice work.
So that's a wrap. Be sure you do like, subscribe, and add your own time management tips into the comment section and kind of build each other up via community. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will catch you next time.